Beverage choices.
It's hockey night in Utica, and tonight the Comets take on the Toronto Marlies for the first of a back-to-back this weekend. Joining us from the Adirondack Bank Center with more on that and what else you can expect to see tonight on Sports Express, none other than Sports Director Spencer Davidson. Good evening, Spence.
Good evening, Jason. Hello, everybody. The Comets come here and return home on a 3-game winning streak and return here tonight. They're coming off a thrilling come-from-behind win over the Laval Rocket on Wednesday. Now, I'm going to get to this game in just a minute, but first, some other good news out of the hockey world today. The big boys are returning to the Winter Games. The NHL announcing today that it has agreed with the IIHF to send its players back to the Olympics for at least the next 2 Winter Games in 2026 and 2030. It'll mark the first time that the Olympic Games will see a best-on-best tournament since 2014 in Sochi, Russia. Now, as you may remember, the last couple of Winter Games, it's been a mixture of AHL players, pros playing in other leagues around the world, and even some college-age athletes. Among those participants was Comets defenseman Tyler Wotherspoon, who was on an AHL deal with Utica and represented Team Canada in Beijing in 2022. The NHL also announcing a new international tournament called the Four Nations Face-Off between the U.S., Canada, Finland, and Sweden, taking place in February 2025 in place of the NHL All-Star Game. Now, back to today's order of business. We are back to a hockey night in Utica. Sports Express double feature. Utica comes in tonight to take on the Toronto Marlies, coming off that thrilling 4-3 win over Laval on the road Wednesday, coming from behind and scoring the game-winning goal with 38 seconds left for the team's 3rd straight victory. This is just the 2nd meeting of the season between Utica and Toronto, and the first here since last season's North Division semifinals. In addition to hockey night in Utica, it's also a big night for high school hoops in the area. With some late season rivalry games, the Utica-Rome rivalry is renewed as RFA visits Proctor on the boys' side. In the Center State Conference, Frankfurt Schuyler hosts West Canada Valley, and on the girls' side, New Hartford and Whitesboro clash for a TVL Colonial matchup. That is just some of what you're going to see tonight on Sports Express. We also have tonight's Athlete of the Week, who is high jumping his way into contention for a state title. Meanwhile, here at the Odd, Comets Marlies getting set for puck drop at 7 o'clock. The gates opening here at the Adirondack Bank Center, and the fans are starting to trickle in. It is hockey night in Utica, and I know you can't wait. I can't either. Jason, I'll send it back to you.
All right, sounds great, Spence. We'll see you tonight. Time for a first look at the forecast.
Good evening and welcome to another full night of local sports action. After 1 week away, we are back for another hockey night in Utica. Sports Express double feature. Grab your popcorn, save me some. It is going to be fun. Tonight, here at the Adirondack Bank Center, the Utica Comets host the Toronto Marlies for the first of a back-to-back this weekend. For the first time, it's the first time these teams are squaring off here in Utica since last year's Calder Cup playoffs in the North Division semifinals, a series won by Toronto in 4 games, ending the Comets season. It's just the 2nd meeting between these teams overall this year. The first coming all the way back on October 15th in Toronto, with the Marlies coming away with a 5-2 victory. Utica enters tonight on a 3-game winning streak, most recently beating the Laval Rocket on Wednesday on the road in a thrilling come-from-behind 4-3 win, where the Comets scored the game-winning goal on the power play with just 38 seconds remaining in regulation. A big 2 points are on the line tonight as the Comets come into the night in 6th place in the North Division, trailing Laval by 1 point for the final postseason spot and trailing Toronto, who's in 4th, by just 2. A regulation win tonight should lift Utica back into the playoff conversation. It'll be a challenge, though, as the Marlies, they can flat-out score. They're 6th in the league with 143 goals for, while 10th in the AHL in goals against with just 118. Now, special teams are very similar, with Toronto just a hair better on the power play, while Utica has a slight edge here on the penalty kill. Also tonight on Sports Express, staying on the ice and heading right next door for a women's hockey battle between the number 13 nationally ranked Utica University Pioneers and Chatham. Also up north in Clarkson, number 3 Colgate takes on number 4 Clarkson for a big ECAC matchup there. And in the high school ranks, on the boys' side, New Hartford and Clinton tussle at the Old Barn in Hockeyville, USA. That is Division II. Then on the hardwood, some rivalry matchups in the TVL between RFA and Proctor on the boys' side and New Hartford and Whitesboro on the girls' side. While in the CSC, West Canada Valley visits Frankfurt Schuyler. Big state-ranked divisional tilt there. In other hockey news to pass along, by the way, the NHL has agreed to send its players back to the Olympics for 2026 and 2030. This will be the first time that it'll be a best-on-best tournament since 2014 in Sochi, Russia. So the NHL players heading back to the Winter Games. Again, here at the Odd, puck drop at 7 o'clock as the Comets take on the Toronto Marlies here for the first of a back-to-back in a big North Division battle. We will have highlights, scores, and more from the rest of the area's action tonight on Sports Express. Until then, News Channel 2 at 6. We'll wrap up after the break. That in just a bit, but first, we'll head down to the Adirondack Bank Center for the first of a back-to-back between the Utica Comets and Toronto Marlies.
Yeah, that's right. The Comets face their North Division rival for the second time this year. First time here in Utica, though, since last season's North Division semifinals.
Yeah, we won't talk about that, though. To the Odd, hockey night in Utica. Comets come in on a 3-game winning streak and off a thrilling come-from-behind win over Laval on Wednesday. Hey, the NHL announced today it's sending its players back to the Olympics in 2026 and 2030. The Comets' own Olympian Tyler Wotherspoon represented Team Canada in Beijing in 2022. First period, Comets generating chances early. Sam LeBear's all alone, but robbed by Dennis Hildeby with the glove save to keep it scoreless. Midway through the frame, the tide begins to change. Marlies on a rush. Topi Niemela slides to Zach Solo, and Akira Schmid can't get across in time. Would have been a tough save. Toronto is on the board first. Under 3 minutes later, Marlies with it again. Max LaJoie, clapper from the blue line, redirected in front by Robert Mastro Simone. Puck was heading glove side, ended up blocker side. Marlies lead 2-zip. To the second, Utica with more chances. Schmelzer stuffed on the forehand by Hildeby. And then a few seconds later, Comets right back in the zone, but Hildeby shuts the door on Schmelzer again, this time on the backhand. The Toronto netminder finished with 20 saves. Over 8 minutes in, Marlies take over in the neutral zone. Dylan Gambrell over the line, takes the shot. Schmid the save. Then it's Alex Steves on the rebound. Schmid gets a piece, can't get all of it. Marlies took a 3-0 lead. They'd add one more in the third, a tough one for the Comets, who get shut out at home 4-0. These teams back at it again tomorrow at 5.
Now, speaking of division rivalries, we had a Section 3 Division II battle between old rivals New Hartford and Clinton at the Old Barn in Hockeyville tonight. Spartans looking for the 3-game season sweep over the Comets. First period, Anthony Falvo gets it in the corner, takes it to the right into the cage, and tucks the backhander short side to get the Spartans on the board less than a minute in. That's actually the first of many in this one for NH as they go on to win this one 8-0. Spartans now winners of 8 straight and unbeaten in their last 11.
Through the Zamboni Tunnel and right next door to the Odd at the Utica University Nexus Center, Pioneers women's hockey team hosting Chatham University for the first of a back-to-back. Utica coming off 2 losses to Nazareth last week. But they were up 2-0 in the second tonight when, on the power play, Erica Sloan finds Haley Maudlin in front, and Maudlin taking the hits to make the play. Chips it home to give the Pioneers a 3-zip advantage. To the third, Utica up by 4 now, but Chatham getting on the board on a 5-on-3. Allie Nolan towards the goal, tipped in front by Samantha Barrett, and the Cougars pull back within 3 late. But if Chatham had any thoughts of a comeback, Sloan said, think again. Net empty, Sloan fires from center ice and buries it. John, don't people usually win a car for doing that?
I think I've seen that before.
Yeah, somebody called Mastrovito Hyundai. Pioneers win 5-1. By the way, the Pioneers men's team also won 9-0 over King's College on the road. Utica on the men's side has now won 9 straight. And that'll take us to the first intermission on Sports Express. Still to come, this week's featured athlete of the week.
Yeah, but coming up